Okay, so now let's look at the Wix tutorial. So let's go through how this tutorial is going to work. So firstly, I'm going to take you through every aspect of the Wix web builder. Well, every aspect that is relevant to the task. So by the end of this tutorial, you should have a greater understanding on how to use Wix and have a fully functioning website. So of course this isn't the only way to make a website. In fact, there are lots of other options, from pure coding languages such as HTML, CSS and JavaScript, as you can see in my other tutorials, as well as other WYSIWYG web builders such as WordPress, Squarespace and Weebly. However, the method in this tutorial is the most efficient and advanced method for someone who may have little experience with working with website technologies. So I'm going to show you how to create a website using Wix.com, which is arguably the best drag and drop technology down to its intuitive nature, up-to-date features, and the use of animation. So, do you need to be tech savvy? So, as previously implied, you do not have to be tech savvy to use Wix. Of course, it helps if you have experience with using websites, purely so you can have a better understanding of sort of user experience and how certain elements work on a website and what they're used for. And well, does it cost money? So Wix has a free plan, which is what we'll be using today, although there are paid plans if you want to use your own domain. So with the free plan, you would have the domain like www.wix.com/your website name here. But if you opted for the paid plan, you could use your own domain like www.mywebsite.co.uk. And there are obviously, of course, other features with the paid plans, but that's not what the purpose of this tutorial is about. The purpose of this tutorial is to build a website, which is what we're going to do. Okay, so now let's look at the planning stage. So before you start building your website, you need to create a plan of what you need in order to build the website. So as you'll be following a design and a brief, you can base your initial plan off that. And then you can take a look at other similar websites for inspiration on the following. So the contact form, the email address for which the contact form needs to be sent to, relevant images and videos if required, and then the pages you want. This is just the base plan that you'll have to start off with, just so you know what to begin with. Okay, so getting started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is navigate to the Wix website. So if you go to www.wix.com. So from here, you need to click the Get Started button, where you'll be prompted to sign up, or if you have an account already, then you can sign in. You can, of course, sign in with Facebook or Google, which does make it a lot quicker and easier to get things going. Okay, so now let's look at choosing a theme. So next you're going to want to choose a theme. It's not crucially important as the elements on Wix are highly customizable, but try choosing a theme based on the website design that's been provided. So Wix can allow you to filter by category, and then once you've chosen that category, you can preview the theme. But don't worry about choosing the category that is correct. It's just if the theme feels and looks as you want it to, then choose that one and go ahead. And of course you can customize it as you like. So now let's move on to editing your website in Wix. So once you've chosen your theme, you click on your website, click on the edit button for your website, and it'll take you to a new tab or a new window. So you probably notice that once you're in the editor, you can simply double click on any text on the page and edit the words. It's very simple and intuitive. Go ahead and try it yourself and see what you can come up with. You can also move things around by just clicking and dragging the items around. However, be careful not to click near the words, because then you'll just be moving the words around and not what's behind it. So start playing about, and then pretty soon it'll all come natural to you. So now you've had a feel of how the editor works and where things are. Now let's go on to navigating the editor. So once you click the edit site button, it redirects you to a new website, a new page. Obviously you would have already done this in the last step. But in the top navigation, so at the very top of the page, from left to right, you'll see the following. So first item, you'll see page selector. So this is once you create more than one page, although this probably has been done by the theme because they have created the default pages for you. From here you can select and navigate through which page you want to edit, just through a drop down. The next one is site. So there are useful items in here regarding your website, e.g. connecting your own domain, accessibility, how to get found on Google, etc. Next, there'll be tools. So you can turn sort of the rulers and guidelines on and off here. You can use the developer tools, which is in the beta version. This is for when you want to add code to it, if you do want to add code. And also whether or not you want to display the toolbar. So I'd highly recommend keeping that permanently displayed, because that helps you navigate to the different sections on the Wix editor. Next we have the undo, redo and zoom function, followed by the mobile and desktop view switcher, which has the option to save, preview and publish your site. So it's quite important to save your work at regular intervals. And then down the left hand side there is a navigation bar where you're able to do the following. You can add, remove, rename and reorder pages which for the navigation bar in the actual website. So the order they appear, so you want home, about us, contacts, etc. You can set the page background, and with this you can use colours, images, or in some cases videos, or I'd highly recommend not using too many videos, just because the site will be slow to load. The next section we have you can add text, images, and every other element to go in your page. So in here you can save the styling of elements. So, for example, the subheadings on your page should all be the same. So you can, or the H2 or the heading 2 tags should all be the same. So you could save the style in here to reuse it later on. So fourth on the list is the Wix app section. So from here you can add third-party apps, or even ones that are built by Wix, but they're usually third-party, and they can perform useful functions. So sort of an Instagram feed, so it pulls in all the images from your Instagram page, or an image slider, or something like that. There's quite a lot of variety in there. So next there is a media section. So in here you can upload or remove or edit images, videos, fonts, documents, and audio tracks. The next item allows you to add a blog page or blog to a page, so like a blog section. And finally, there's an option to add or create free custom email templates, which are highly useful when you're trying to drive traffic to your website. So you can send out big email campaigns to the email list you have. And there is actually one more thing. You can create a booking form for your site, which can accept payments and then send email reminders and things like that. So if you need to set appointments and you need payment on the website, that's a good way of doing it. But that isn't something we're going to worry about today. Okay, so now let's look at adding, removing and changing photos in Wix. So there'll be standard placeholder images throughout the site once you choose the theme. And then more often than not, these images will not be relevant to your website, and therefore you need to change them. So step 1, click the image you want to replace. Step 2, select change image. Step 3, select upload image. And then step 4, choose from the photos on your computer. Select OK and then position your photo. And obviously if there isn't a photo already there, if you want to add one instead of changing one, then you would simply go down to the left hand side, the second point down on the navigation bar, and then click the box which opens up the elements, so where you can add text, etc. In here you can add an image. Okay, so now let's look at contact forms. So by this point you've learned how to change the text, change the images, move things around, create and edit pages, and then make your site look good. So it shouldn't take a very long time to write some good text that will let people know exactly what you're offering and how they should proceed. However, your whole website is rather useless if you don't have a way of sort of potential sellers to reach you. So the best way to do this is have your telephone and the contact form. So a contact form is something that is essentially key on every website. So to do this, step 1, decide where you're going to put it. So I'm going to put mine on the contact page, so it's going to be one of the main pages. Step 2, click the plus icon in the Wix editor icon bar and scroll down and select apps, followed by contact form. Step 3, move the contact form where you want it and then make it the size you want by dragging the corners. And then step 4, click the form settings to specify what email you want the form sent to. So this is what I said earlier about planning. You need to plan what email you'd like the form to be sent to. And then click the form and select change style. And then from here you can change the style of it to be in with the same style as your website. Step 6, click the form and select show on all pages if you want the form to show on all pages of your site. But in this case we don't, as we're only going to have it on the contact page. Step 7, add text above the contact form. You'll want to ensure that your website visitors are encouraged to fill out the form. Be sure to let them know exactly what to do with the form and what it is regarding. So you can have a contact form, a booking form, an inquiry form, all of these. So to add text above the form, simply navigate to Wix editor icon bar and click the plus icon and then click add text, which is the same place where you'd find the forms and the images. Okay, so now let's look at accessing the mobile editor. So Wix automatically creates a mobile-friendly version of your site for you. And you can edit your mobile site using the mobile editor, which is what we talked about earlier. So to access this, as previously mentioned, click the switch editor views icon on the top bar of the editor and then click on mobile view. The desktop and mobile versions of your site represent different viewing modes of the same site. So please bear in mind they're not two separate sites. It's just different versions or different ways of viewing it. So changes to your desktop site could affect your mobile friendly site because it is essentially the same site. Okay, so now let's talk about anchors. So what is an anchor? Anchors are invisible position markers where you can place anywhere on your site. So they're a useful way to direct visitors to important sections. So this is especially important if you had a lot of content on the homepage or it was a one-page site, as we call. So there's no pages to it, there's just sections. Okay, so now let's look at how we would use anchors. So you can use your anchors in two ways. So the first one is to link elements to them. So you can link elements such as buttons or menu tabs to anchors, meaning that rather than placing all the information in one location, you can direct your visitors to different locations on your site with additional information. Display them in an anchor menu. So you can display all your anchors in a cool floating anchor menu that helps your visitors navigate around the site. Okay, so now let's look at linking elements. 2 anchors. So once you've added your anchor, you can link images, buttons, text and more to it. When these elements are clicked, your visitor is directed to the relevant anchor. Okay, so now let's look at adding and then deleting an anchor. So anchors are an easy way to direct people to the bits of your site that matter most. So to add an anchor, first you would click Add button on the left-hand side of the editor, click More, then click the anchor under Anchors or drag it to the relevant location on your page. So drag the anchor to the position you want on your page, and then it will be saved. That's where it will be. So delete an anchor, you right-click on the anchor you wish to delete and click Delete. So it's fairly straightforward. Okay, so now let's talk about rulers and guides. So about rulers. So your editor has vertical and horizontal rulers which appear along the top and bottom right hand side. So these rulers have sort of more accurately place elements on your site, as you can position them at specific locations in pixels within the editor. So you'll not see these rules on the site itself, you only see them in the editor. So if you were to publish your site, they would be invisible, they would not be there. So let's look at adding guides to your rulers. So click a position on the ruler adds a guide, which is a personal position marker. Elements snap to the guides when you move them or resize them, like they snap to other components and grid lines. And lastly, let's talk about publishing your Wix website. So to publish your site, simply click the Publish button in the top right corner, and like that, your site is ready to go live. However, as we discussed earlier on, website probably has a terrible long name, but for the purpose of this task, the domain is irrelevant. But if you were to publish this website with a real life purpose, then it would be advisable to upgrade to the paid plan and use a custom domain. But as we don't need to, then it's okay to use the domain that we're given, because we're only focusing on the website building itself. Okay, so thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you've learnt everything you needed to, and I hope you complete the task as well. If there are any questions or queries, please don't hesitate to get in contact with me, and I'll help you as much as I can.